It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. If you're wondering why I'm saying Jamie and Kelly, we announced yesterday Kelly Wilson, my new co-host here on the program. Many people may be familiar with her with Edge magazine, an entrepreneur magazine, which stands for Entrepreneurs Dedicated to Growth and Excellence. And also she is a former host here on 1250 WHNZ with the show Getting the Edge. So, Kelly, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Thank you for having me. Happy to be a co-host.
And thank you so much for coming on board with That Business Show and changing the name and causing me a lot of work to do with my logo, by the way. Now that I got to
happy to do it.
Change all of those things out there. So, nonetheless, so happy to have her on board. A good show planned today. On the second part of today's show, we're going to be hearing from Jackie Darna, CEO and medical inventor of Nausea. So, if you have any issues with nausea, stay tuned. She's got a great little invention for this, for a minimal investment to help you deal with nausea. And the product is blowing up nationally and internationally even. So a huge success story based here in Tampa Bay. And so we'll be hearing from her at 8:30. Up first, we have Christine Quinn, founder of My Family Seasonings with us in studio today. So let's welcome her to the program. Christine, welcome in today.
Thank you. Good morning, Tampa Bay.
And so My Family Seasonings, tell us a little bit about your product line and what this is first.
Well, My Family Seasonings is an all-natural, no MSG, gluten-free. There's no preservatives. We're the only manufacturer in the world that precisely measures the exact amount of each ingredient into every bag. And so we make a dry rub for prime rib, seafood, pork, poultry, hamburger, wild game, lamb. And our newest to our line is our meatloaf mix. And it can all be found at your local Publix in the meat and seafood department.
Wow, incredible. And so the website also myfamilyseasonings.com. And you said this is personally measured per bag? I mean, so how can you mass produce this if you're measuring each bag? I mean, how does that work?
My dad, that's a very good question. When I very first started, I thought in my little brain, we'll just get this little machine that will go around and drop each one in there. And so I told my dad, and he's like, no, honey, that's not how it works. It'll be one operation. So my dad is an aerospace engineer. I worked for NASA through different contractors for 50 years, and he designed and built the machine. And so it measures, and we can, there's little, it's a plate, and the plate has measurable, I don't know what you would call them, slots, okay, for lack of words. And so you can adjust them for each amount of each ingredient, and then it slides up underneath the hopper. The hopper drops it as it slides back out, drops into a funnel into the bag, and so we can mass produce. We can do about 16 bags a minute by hand, but we're getting a new machine this year. So one of the reasons why I moved here to Florida, and we'll talk a little bit about that later, but kind of exciting. We've been in business now for 12 years, and how we got started was we had a very successful real estate office years ago, and we used to always cook a prime rib for our holiday seasons every Christmas. And so every year I would make a batch of our seasonings, put it in a little baggie, put it in a little gold bag, and put it on a bottle of wine and say, Merry Christmas from the Quinns. Well, in 1998, my husband got sick with a disease called Guillain-Barré. So it's Guillalane-Barre. Two French doctors diagnosed this in the early 1800s, but it's a polyneuritis ascending paralysis, and it's triggered from a flu shot. So it caused him paralysis from the feet all the way up to his forehead. So he was paralyzed top to bottom for 5.5 months. And during that illness, and all of our clients started calling and asking, so are you going to send that prime rib seasoning for the holidays? Because he got sick in October, and we normally did that right at Christmas time. And I was like, no, he's paralyzed on a respirator. I don't even know if he's going to live from one day to the next. I'm not making prime rib seasoning this year. So, I mean, you wouldn't believe how many people called and asked for that. So fast forward to New Year's Eve 2004, he was in the hospital for a full year, and we pretty much lost everything. So it was starting over. And we finally were able to buy a new house in 2004. And 2005, we're having a New Year's Eve party. And I had cooked a 17-pound prime rib, but now we're about 70 miles from my family. We'd moved down to Oceanside, California, and everyone was calling one by one and saying, "Oh, we're not going to come tonight. It's too far to drive." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I have a 17-pound prime rib." So I'm telling that to my girlfriend. We've all become friends in our neighborhood, and she's like, "Oh, well, let's just have a party at my house." And then all the other neighbors started coming out, and they're like, "Yeah, let's just have a New Year's Eve party at Lynn's house." So the next thing you know, we're having an impromptu New Year's Eve party over at Lynn's house, and I bring over my 17-pound prime rib, and all the men were like, "Dang, that's really good." And I'm like, "Well, did you think I was lying?" I kept telling everybody it was a great prime rib seasoning.
Is that how the seasoning then kicked off?
It is. And so that night, we started just talking about the seasoning, and everyone, it's my mom's secret recipe. And so we started toasting to my family seasonings. And I kept saying, "To my family seasonings," and kind of cheering. And then my friends were saying, "You should just market and sell that." Because I had gone back to school at this point to get my degree in marketing. And I had done all the marketing and advertising for our real estate company prior to that. And so that's something I have a niche for.
So was that 12 years ago now today?
It's been 12 years ago, January 1st. It will be.
Is your husband fully recovered now?
He did not. He did not fully recover.
Oh, he didn't.
So,
I'm sorry.
That's one of those tragic things about the flu shots that you hear about. I myself stay away from any type of shot and everything, but yeah, that's just one of those tragic stories that go along with the flu shots that we hear about every season.
Well, it is. And, here's the thing is that it may trigger and it may not. And we could go into the medical background of the flu shot, but typically in 1 minute I can tell you that throughout the United States, they will develop 5 vaccines for what they think might get the flu that year in your region. But if you look back about 10 years ago when we ran out of flu vaccines, you guys remember when that happened?
Yes.
We had the least amount of flus in the United States of America. And nobody even talks about that.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think that that's a good thing. I think that's something you need to really discuss with your doctor. But I personally would not recommend it. It's not necessary. And you're going to get the flu if you're going to get the flu, and you don't know which vaccine you're getting anyway.
It's scary.
Yeah. So I wouldn't personally recommend that. But
so, question: when you started the business 12 years ago, and you'd mentioned that you had gone through the rough time, so did you need to get financing? How did you get the money to get the business? Or for any business owners wanting to start a business out there, how did you start when you'd kind of gone through such a tough time? And then getting the spice business going.
One of the things I think it's very important for people, no matter what, whether you're going to start your own business or not, is really protect your credit, because your credit determines the value of the type of loan you can get, the interest rate you're going to pay on that. And so it's really important not to get yourself in debt, number one. And number two, make sure you pay on time and keep your credit up, because it took me about 5 years to rebuild our credit back up where I was able to go to the bank and get a loan. But I was very careful. We lived within our means during that time, and we did not get into debt at all. And I think it's really important. I don't think that the Lord ever designed us to be in debt. And I have to tell you, when we lost everything, my friends were like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how you made it. And I don't know how you could be so happy." And I'll tell you what, I was never happier the day of my life because we had no debt. And it's nice to live debt free.
It's humble.
It is humbling.
Brings you back to a humble space.
And you just start again. And I think that was our second chance really in life. And I vow never to be in debt again.
And you knew how to do it this time.
And yes. And so this time, of course, what did I do? But I'll tell you a little bit about that story and what ended up happening, because I must have said, I'm going to do it a lot at the New Year's Eve party. And so then my neighbors started coming out and asked, "Well, did you do it? Did you do it?" And I'm like, "Do what?" And they're like, "Start your seasoning company." And I thought, okay, I am. So I made a list of some of the grocery stores near us, and Ralph's grocery store in California happened to be in the City of Commerce, Compton area. And Safeway was also in California, and so was Albertson. So I made some phone calls, and one of the buyers called me back. And he said, "I just like the enthusiasm in your voice. When do you want to come in?" And I'm like, "Well, when will you have me?" Now, mind you, this is January 7th. And I could hear him flipping through the pages. And he says, "Well, how about the 27th? And I'm like, "Of January?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "By the way, what's the name of your company?" And I'm thinking, I don't have a company. I have nothing. I have an idea. I have my mom's recipe. So I blurt out My Family Seasonings. And he said, great name. See you on the 27th.
Oh, wow.
Wow, incredible.
So I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea the grocery store industry at all. I just know how to market things. So I came up with an idea for packaging that I thought would be great. And I figured, well, if you're going to spend $150 on a prime rib, you'll spend $5 to make it perfect, right? And of course, I have the perfect prime rib seasoning. So... And I kind of designed it a little bit more elegant, and that's all I took in with me. And so I go in, I get all dressed up because this is my comeback. And he says, all right, little lady, you have 5 minutes to set up, 5 minutes to pitch it, and 5 minutes to get the hell out of my office. I'm like, what? Okay. So I go in, and all I have is an 8-pound prime rib. So I go in, I set up that prime rib, and I brought in some horseradish and some au jus and a couple paper plates, and I call him in. And he goes, okay, so tell me about your company. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have a company. I got a kitchen in my house. And so I go, well, how about if I slice you a piece of prime rib and you taste it and tell me about my seasoning? And he goes, okay. So I slice a piece of prime rib and literally hand it to him. Like, I think I'm going to spoon feed this guy. What was I thinking? But I put it up to his mouth on a fork. So he eats it, and he goes, it was the longest 30 seconds of my life. I thought, oh my gosh, I overseasoned it. It tastes horrible. The guy doesn't say one word. And then he leans back in his chair. He opens up the sliding glass door. He brings in 6 guys. They're sitting down at the conference table. And I just start slicing prime rib for everybody. And 4.5 hours later, they told me everything I needed to know to bring it to market, from the UPC code, nutritional information, where to get spices, packaging, what is a tie high. I didn't even know what a tie high was. I'll tell you what, that was like, top secret information. But a tie high is simply your pallet configuration. So a tie is how many cases will fit on one level on that pallet. And a high is how many high you can go without crushing your product.
I'd never heard that term myself. I just learned something myself.
That is what happens when you're in a warehouse. So how they bring it into their warehouses for distribution, you've seen pallet racking systems, and some of them are 4 foot, 5 foot. Well, your tie high has to be able to fit in there when they come in a pallet and on a forklift to put it in underneath. So that's how you configure your the size of the box, which mine is like 6.5 by 5 by 9 inches high. So my tie high is 54 by 5. So I have 54 units per layer and 5 high.
So your meeting was supposed to be 15 minutes was what you were offered, and you were there 4.5 hours, and I assume you walked out with the deal.
And I did. and at that time they ordered 20,000 units. And then they said, we want this by June 1st. Can you deliver it by June 1st? And I'm thinking, okay.
I don't even have a company.
But of course, I'm not going to say no. Okay, I'll do that. I can do that.
Wow.
And so so this is January 27th. And by March 1st, I was incorporated. I got all the licensing I need for the state of California, the county, the city, everything. And found out about kosher certification. Went to, get this, there was a spice seminar that came to Compton. Of all things, a 4-day seminar. So
Everything
I go to
works the way it's supposed to.
So I go to that, find out I'm telling you that these guys were in lab coats. This is serious business, the seasoning stuff. So do we have to go to break?
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So so I learned everything I need to know about spices, and that's when I decided that if you are going to spend $150, sometimes prime ribs can be $2 or $200 for the holiday. You'll spend $5 if you have the finest ingredients. So we have the finest ingredients on the market. We import our, I won't tell you my secret, but we only use kosher certified, the finest grain of pepper. Our pepper right now is $7.50 a pound, and I buy it in 5,000 units pounds at a time.
Wow. Incredible story. You can find this product in stores across the Bay Area, including Publix, Sam's Club, Whole Foods, and she's all across the country. So very inspirational story here. Currently talking to Christine Quinn, founder of My Family Seasonings, and you can learn more about this at myfamilyseasonings.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. 4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn Apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Crash on Brian Darien, 102nd Avenue North, about midway between Seminole and Starkey. Delays near 109th. Also delays on the Courtney Campbell Causeway, eastbound direction into Rocky Point. Slow traffic on the southbound side of the Veterans Expressway between the Courtney Campbell Causeway and the West Shore Plaza area. Southbound 75 now slow between Fowler Avenue and I-4. And a crash on Big Bend Road near I-75 blocking a couple lanes. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council. Wash surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water while preparing food. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year, and roughly 3,000 will die. But you can keep your family safer by cleaning with soap and water as you go. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
Today, a mix of sun and clouds with just a 10% rain chance, high 87. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 72. Tomorrow, 20% chance of showers, high 87.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Talking to Christine Quinn, founder of My Family Seasonings, and learn more at myfamilyseasonings.com.
Well, good morning. Before we went to break earlier, we were talking about how you got into the grocery stores and that fabulous experience that you had. That is very luck. That's luck oriented. That's great. You talked about Publix, and for all those listening, I know a lot of us that we have business ideas. We want to get into these different businesses, and Publix being one of them. What is your advice to listeners out there to get into Publix or those types of businesses?
Well, I think it's really critical to, as an entrepreneur and a business person, you have your ideas, and you think they're the greatest things since sliced bread, right?
Of course.
So, of course we do, or else we wouldn't be doing it. But you have to realize that when you're going into these big corporations, and Publix is probably one of the best grocery stores in the nation to work for, as is H-E-B, Safeway. I mean, there's a lot of great organizations, Wegmans, Sam's Club, Costco, Walmart. All of these are great organizations. I think what happens is we get a little overzealous about our product, and then we think, oh, we're going to be rich, and we go into these, and we have to go in. I always say the turtle wins the race with a little bit of caution. If your product doesn't sell, you're out. So it's very important that you build your brand. So the number one thing I tell business entrepreneurs is branding is critically important. You don't want to have to get into your company and then rebrand later, because then you're taking 5 steps backwards. So if you're going to spend your money, it's critical on your branding of your product. Make sure that your brand symbol is going to be able to sell. Like My Family Seasonings were for meat oriented. So I thought, brand. The MFS looks like a brand. I actually made a brand that you could put onto a cow, the brands. So you want to make sure that it's going to be sellable. People are going to like it and buy it and remember it. We always remember the slogans. But I think it's critically important, because what happened to me really quick is that I thought, okay, great, I'm going to be a millionaire. I got into Ralph's grocery store and everything's going to be wonderful. And so my dad designed our dispensing system, and we made all the product, and we got everything ready by May 25th. They wanted it by June 1st, remember?
So you made it.
So I made it. And I call him up and I said, okay, we're ready. Now what? Where do we go next? Because I was so overzealous about getting it ready, I didn't look at what other factors were involved in that. And I asked for the buyer, and they're like, oh, he's not here anymore. And I'm like, what? And I go, well, is so-and-so there? Nope, he doesn't work here anymore. And so we go through this process to find out that they've all been fired because Kroger bought out Ralph's, and June 1st was their turnover date.
So did you have to resell the product then to the new staff?
I had to go up to Kroger. I had to go up to Ohio and talk to them. But now I learned a very big lesson, because they asked me, well, what's your PO number? And I never got a PO.
Oh, no.
I had done everything over the internet.
Purchase order.
Okay. Right? Make sure you get that purchase order up front. And anyway, because we had talked, but what ultimately ended up happening is I had 20,000 units and no PO, and Kroger was going to be 6 months later before I went to Kroger. I did eventually do that, and we got it in, but it took over a year. So I loaded up my little minivan, I made prime ribs, and I went into every single grocery store chain in my area, San Diego, Orange County.
Persistence.
And said, will you taste this? Do you like it? Will you put it on the shelf? And so you need to be careful that you don't overexpand too soon, and you understand the dynamics. And I like to help entrepreneurs with that all the time.
Well, a good discussion and a very inspirational story here to start this early Friday morning. So Christine Quinn, founder of My Family Seasonings. Great story. Thank you so much for being in studio today.
Thank you for having me.
Coming back from the break, we're going to be talking to Jackie Darna, CEO and medical inventor of Nausea. So if you have issues with nausea, you want to stay tuned for that discussion and learn more about this program over at TampaBayRadio.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
There's a lot of uncertainty about the stock market right now. Wall Street is unsure what's going to be happening next. And if you're retired or even thinking about retiring, you don't want to be taking on too much risk. And that's why you need to talk to
An I-4 and a crash on Big Bend Road near I-75, blocking a couple lanes. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uter at Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Auto America. If you have a damaged windshield and full insurance coverage, Auto Glass America can install a new one for free and buy back your old one for up to $100 on the spot. Call 813-96-GLASS. That's 813-96-GLASS. If it's chipped or cracked, they will buy it back.
1250 winds weather center forecast. Partly sunny skies today with a high temperature in the mid to upper 80s, nearing 90 degrees in some locations. Staying pretty dry today, though there's always that small chance for a pop-up shower. Low 70s for the overnight low. Into the weekend, mid 80s each day, mix of sun and clouds, 20% chance of rain. Impact Radio 1250 winds.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And we're back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Very good discussion there with Christine Quinn, founder of My Family Seasonings. And she even left us behind some samples. So me and Kelly will be splitting those, and we'll probably split them alongside our upcoming guest, Jackie Darna, who is the CEO and medical inventor of Nausea. And you can learn more about this over at nomonausea.com. And Jackie is a returning guest to the program, so we welcome her back in studio. Jackie, how are you doing this morning?
Doing very well. Thank you again for having me back.
So tell us, the Nausea band, what is this?
Absolutely. So the Nausea band is actually the first and only natural way to stop nausea, vomiting, and now migraines instantly. My 3-in-1 patent-pending combination of essential oil-infused acupressure device actually helps to stop somebody from vomiting in 30 seconds and can stop someone from getting sick before they get on a boat, before they have surgery. And then ultimately, even if they want to bring their furry friend along, we now have our pet band, which is No Mo Nausea Dog.
Wow. So how did this all come about? You're an anesthesiologist, I believe.
Right.
How did this come about?
As a clinician of anesthesia going under a C-section, emergency C-section, I should say, with my beautiful daughter about 2 years ago, I got extremely ill. I threw up for 3 days straight, and no medication could help me. If you can only imagine, I was barking orders, and all the nurses wanted to kill me, especially being that I work with them. So I finally said, they came in and said, would you like to be placed into a medically induced coma? Maybe that'll stop you from throwing up. I looked at them as though they were crazy and said, no more drugs, that's it. I had remembered in anesthesia school that we had, basically it's acupressure at what's called the P6 point, which is 3-finger distance from the first wrist crease in between your two tendons. And Ni Wang is actually the acupuncturist who found that this spot alone can increase the amount of anti-nausea hormones. So I put a piece of gauze, which is the same thing as a napkin, and taped it there. My stepmom comes walking in with a peppermint plant. And she said, I read this on the internet that it's supposed to help. So I was about to throw up. I grabbed the leaves and I smelled them. And I said, man, that really helped to relax my stomach and it stopped me from vomiting. The problem is I looked like an Egyptian princess. I had leaves scoured all over my hospital
Not a bad
room.
Thing, though, right?
Exactly.
Egyptian
of course.
princess.
And it
Could
fits
be
my
worse.
personality if you know me. But I then said, give me a piece of tape. So I taped the actual peppermint leaves to the acupressure nodule. And I said, man, I just want to buy this. So that's basically my product itself. It combines essential oils, which I don't know if you guys can see. If you actually smell, that's what stops people from vomiting in the emergency rooms in now 12 countries of the world, for example. Wow. It's utilized in surgery. It's utilized in oncology to help with people with chemotherapy-induced nausea, vomiting. And it's a perfect for this month. Every purchase that we actually is made in October, we have a buy a band, give a band. We donate every product that's purchased to a cancer patient undergoing chemotherapy because I am the first of my entire mom's side of the family who has not contracted breast cancer at 30.
Oh, wow.
So I have been very blessed. And again, I feel as though, pay it forward.
Wow. And so peppermint was known to be an anti-nausea drug to begin with.
Exactly.
And you put it in a band for the wrist, and people can wear these like on trips or wherever
on cruises, for people who have really bad morning sickness in pregnancy, even those who have a really good time this weekend, for example. You don't want the side effects of a terrible hangover. Nausea and vomiting are one of those. There's multiple different reasons. There's actually 5 receptors in the brain, believe it or not, and 2 receptors in the abdomen and the gut. My product can actually help decrease the nausea and vomiting in 5 of those receptors. The only one that it doesn't contract is cannabis, which is also known as marijuana. We do not have a marijuana-infused acupressure band yet.
Well, hey, that's big business coming up around the corner
That
right
is
there.
correct.
You may. So now this product is sold internationally now, correct?
Absolutely.
And you just came back from a trip in Mexico.
I did.
And you almost died 3 times.
Almost died 3 times.
What happened?
So from number 1, 3rd-degree burn from sun poisoning. I am very fair, even though I am Hispanic. I forgot to put actual suntan lotion right there in the center of the chest. And then secondarily, I actually tripped and fell, hit my head, and my husband found me basically unconscious, bleeding. And then the third was I actually had an anaphylactic reaction to latex, which I've always known. But let me tell you, when you're on the opposite side, it was still a very successful business
still a
trip.
successful trip, though.
We ended up solidifying another 4 VA hospitals in Texas. I was actually there representing our distributor at an anesthesia conference, which I then also spoke at how to take natural realms to better help your patients decrease nausea and vomiting. And then ultimately, we were able to talk with our distributors that are down there, as well as for e-commerce. So Amazon is a big business for us, and believe it or not, I went kicking and screaming into this retail market, and now I'm very happy that we do so because it will be found on the shelves of CVS, Kroger, and Publix within April of 2017.
Wow! And so, what is the cost of these bands?
It's $12.99.
$12.99, and how many come in a package?
So they come in a package of 2. Our medical band, which that's the one that originally took me where I am, and I'm happy to say that within 24 months we got to 12 countries of the world.
Wow.
That is for our actual medical utilization. So for people who are having the delivery, if you don't find it in your hospital, or if your OBGYN doesn't actually have them in the hospital setting, we have over 150 OBGYNs across the nation in our medical mailing program, which what that means is they endorse the product. They say, try this first before you go anywhere else. And we are clinically approved to stop 80% of nausea and vomiting with nothing else.
So you had this idea, you're going to put peppermint on your wrist.
Right.
And so, yeah, aha moment. Okay, you got it. So then what? What is your first step? Like, how are you going to make this happen? How do you put it into action?
So I believe business is the business of people, not products or services. So I ended up meeting the right people at the right time. I will talk to anyone. And I just said, pitch if they got a pulse, right? Mm-hmm. I found out that my plastics engineer, who actually his son's organs were harvested because he ended up having a brain aneurysm, were harvested when I was a student at Brandon Regional Hospital, where I worked. It was a connection like no other.
Synchronicity. It's kind of even what Christine was talking about
But
earlier.
if you don't put yourself out there, if you don't talk about it, you never know who that person knows and how many other people. They say that you're 6 lineages or 6 people away from knowing everybody in the world.
6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, 6 degrees of separation.
Kevin Bacon or something. 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon or something. Popularize that.
It's so true, though. I mean, it really is. You have no idea who you're sitting next to. I did the same thing at the airport, and that was the first time that we got our branding for Air Canada. The guy I sat next to and was talking to and having a beer with, he actually owned all the planes to these smaller areas, and then that's how we got into our first airline. It's stories like that people say, I can't help you, but I know somebody who can. Right. And if they truly believe in you and your business and know that you can take it to a whole nother level, just like Christine was saying, they believed in her. Right. She didn't have anything. I was the same way. I had a package created, done, product to market in 6 months. And then I go, what do I do now?
Now what? Right.
And I'm very happy to say that Tampa has been a really great entrepreneurial ecosystem for me. I actually practice out of the incubator at the University of Tampa, for example.
Right.
And the Vaughn family took me out for dinner and said, Jackie, we would love to have you. And I actually, if we could focus the camera too, 2 of my 8 interns that I have besides our company, they get to work with all 20 of our employees that are international. And it's incredible. They really do things that will help. Woody, for example, 1,000 new Instagram followers in 1 month. Mm-hmm. We have Jesse, who has basically solidified our MailChimp, our medical mailing campaign, showing and proving that, hey, you can make this work. You can tell people about your philanthropy. And so I'm making them uncomfortable, I'm sure. But again, it's incredible how I can help. And I always say that if you know the catalyst to making business, why make business harder than what it is?
Right.
You know the right people, connect people, because what is it going to do for you? It's only going to help pay it forward. And
absolutely.
I
think that's what Jamie and I, our philosophy is very similar. We connect and bring people together, and kind of like here today.
What was the first sale then? Where was that first storefront that you got that product in?
I will say she's amazing. The CEO of Stellar Enterprises, Susan Stackhouse. Okay. She's actually local. She was the first one to give this kid a chance. She is the CEO of Stellar Enterprises, kind of like Hudson Bay. You'll find it in airports all across the country. She put me in one store, Tampa. She said, all right, I'll give you a chance. Let's see. She sold out within the first 2 weeks. She said, hey, you kind of got something here, kid.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden I went into almost all of the airports across the country. And she actually is the one who signed me up for Entrepreneur of the Year for the Tampa Chamber. Mm-hmm. I ended up winning that along with three of my other colleagues that then ended up getting me the nomination as a finalist for both Small Business of the Year this year and Businesswoman of the Year. Wow. Unfortunately, I didn't win either one, but being nominated and seeing that the most incredible business people that I personally consider mentors and standing alongside of them within 24 months, I can't ask for any better.
Are you still working in the hospital setting?
I work once a week sometime. I'm only basically 6 days. I think I'm working in this next 2 months period. I have to keep my license because ultimately I love my profession. Anesthesia is incredible. It has given me the ability to make a bootstrapping company. I used to say I worked my 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and my 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. on my company. And now I can dedicate full time on my company, but I still do practice. I love my patients. And if there's anything, they remember that I'm the one person that can stop them from getting sick after surgery, because that's what I do as an aside.
I have had any surgeries I've had in the past. I've had terrible experiences. From the anesthesia, I'm always sick.
Yeah. And believe it or not, there's actually lots of scientific research, not just on my product itself, but on other utilizations. So distraction technology, that's what is a secondary inside of my product. Believe it or not, go old-fashioned. Take an alcohol swab. Run it underneath your nose. That aromatherapy, the fastest way into your brain is through your nose. That's exactly why I combined it to where somebody would have to lift their wrist and smell. Secondarily, the cooling sensation. We say the Nausea band is equivalent to the icy hot for pain. Icy hot doesn't fix any pain. What it does is it distracts you. It changes the temperature. That's exactly what the essential oils do. So you forget that you're nauseous. You forget that you're having a headache. And then lastly is you actually break the headache cycle with acupressure. So there's a lot of new things that are coming out that are not medical, but things that you can do as a multimodal approach, because I suffer from severe post-op nausea and vomiting. Mm-hmm. And my patients know whenever they wake up, they're good in my arms, in my hands, and that's just because anesthesia has been a practice that has been utilized for about 30 years now. We're really getting into the nitty gritty, I guess you could say, with better medications, but we still can't fix the ultimate problem, and that's the nausea and vomiting associated. So there's a lot of things that you can do, whether that's a combination effect of different items, whether that's basically giving a little bit of this colonoscopy, endoscopy medicine nearing towards the end to help them wake up as though they didn't have anesthesia gases. But
so how many years has it been now? Has your product been out?
It's 26 months.
Wow.
So
that quick in just 26 months.
2 years. I can't believe it.
And you've already got into some of the major retailers too.
Yes,
congratulations.
That's
amazing.
Thank you. We ended up pitching. It's kind of like a reverse where all the other companies come in February, and then they all come to you. And out of the 60 that I met with, 59 of them actually said yes.
Wow.
Wow. Can people order this online?
They can. Nomonausea.com, or you can find us on Amazon. We are on Amazon in 3 different countries. We're in the U.S., we're in Canada, we're in the U.K., and now Mexico. And we are the first anti-nausea product that will be distributed by Amazon because they noticed that we were taking over the airwaves.
Wow.
So we actually, if you go and take a look, our nude bands in the United States will be sold by Amazon. So they are actually our distributor, which is exciting.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Let me take a break here. Currently in studio with Jackie Darna, CEO and medical inventor of the Nausea band, and you can pick these up at nomonausea.com. Got a little bit more with her when we come back from the break. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. In an age when the good and the better vie for attention, it is the best that stands out. The best of Tampa Bay from Proudly, Florida is the love story for the city of Tampa. celebrating success, sharing achievements, a tribute to enterprise and community spirit. Let Proudly Florida showcase your business to your city, your nation, and the world. For more information, email info@proudlyflorida.com and be sure to visit proudlyflorida.com.
Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Have you ever tried to buy a home for your family only to find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage loan? You thought that after 20 years as a customer of your bank, they would help you when you needed it the most, right? Unfortunately, the banks of today are not the banks of our parents and grandparents, and our relationships with them just don't matter anymore. My name is Frank Cotto, and I'm the president of the Lincoln Lending Group. We all may need a bank, but we also need a Frank, and that's what I'm here to do for you today. Lincoln Lending Group will waive all of your lending fees, which include your mortgage, application fee, your underwriting fee, processing fees, and any bank points. Just call 813-MORTGAGE. You drop the E, and we'll drop the fee.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews, and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews, and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Bill Meyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Bill Meyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillMeyerHam.com. That's BillMeyerHam.com. Have a conversation. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Crash in Seminole on eastbound 102nd Avenue North, where it turns into Bryan-Derry on that curve. The left lane is blocked near 109th. Also slow traffic on southbound I-75 from south of Fowler Avenue to I-4. Crash on Big Bend Road being cleared near I-75. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick, Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Just Brakes.
Newsflash, Just Brakes installs new pads, machines your rotors, and more for just $99 per axle. Stop by or visit justbrakes.com for your $99 brake service today.
The brake store that gives you more. Just Brakes.
Today, a mix of sun and clouds with just a 10% rain chance, high 87.
Tonight, partly cloudy, low 72. Tomorrow, 20% chance of showers, high 87.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business. Talking to Jackie Darna, CEO and medical inventor of the Nausea band. You can pick these up in storefronts across the Tampa Bay region and internationally even, and also pick them up at nomonausea.com. And just randomly talking during the break, we find out John, who's over here working the live video stream for us right now, had an experience with these on a show that Jackie was on previously. John hosts our video streams for American Medicine Today. But John, share that with us.
So Miss Jacqueline came in and she did her interview and then gave us all bands, right? And then it was about 30 days later that I was leaving on a cruise. And we got on the cruise, and we were a big group, and one of the people in our group was so sick, and they had tried everything, the C-bands, the medication, the whole 9 yards, that we were going to flight her back on the next stop. And I remembered that she had given us one, so I went back to my cabin and got it, and I said, look, I know you've tried everything else, but try this, and you got to sniff it and the whole 9 yards. And because of that, she was able to stay on the cruise for the rest of the time.
Amazing.
It was, and she, and matter of fact, when she came up, I said, "Can I have that back?" She goes, "Nope, it's mine."
Wow, that was
so good. You don't want to give it back. There you go.
Wow. Do they only last so long, or do you have?
They last for 2 years inside of the package, or 2 weeks of continuous use outside of the package. So again, you can utilize it on a few day cruise, put it back, and then utilize it again when needed. That's why it has a resealable actual area up on the front. That's the reason why. But again, I mean, I love it. All of our testimonials always start with, it really works. Like, nobody believes that, it could actually be that something so simplistic of aromatherapy infused acupressure can really work so quickly.
And you said it's not a perfect science. I mean, you said about there's 80% that have benefits. Talk to us about this.
So we have 9 clinical trials that are actually out. We have 2 that are currently published, and the currently published data states that we can stop 80% of people from having nausea or vomiting. That's a lot. Again, we don't even see the same with other medications. And we're in such a highly medicated society that they want to wait 45 minutes for something to work, versus our migraine band can help to stop the headache in 2 minutes. Just like he said, stop somebody from vomiting on a cruise ship in 30 seconds. That's pretty incredible. So again, it's not a perfect science. There's still that 20% that it might not work. But what I will tell you is you will feel a difference, and it will change at least a little bit. That distraction technology is very important because your brain is a very powerful thing. If you are dead set on the fact that I am just going to be sick, it's kind of like a hamster on a wheel. You just keep, it goes and goes and goes and goes.
It's a mental thing.
It is.
At some point.
It is. And then when people say, well, how do you know it's not a placebo effect? I said, if it is, great. It stopped
whatever
you from puking.
works,
Whatever
right?
works. I think that's the most
And you said it
part.
affects, has benefits on indigestion too.
It does. It does. So at nomonausea.com, you'll actually find that we have blogs, we have our medical research. And what essential oil peppermint actually is it's a calcium channel blocker to the smooth muscle of the gut. It's a very large term for it basically helps to start regulating, to relax your sphincter, to relax. That's just a horrible word. It basically relaxes the actual intestinal tract, and it helps it to beat in synchrony together, because I feel as though that what people don't understand is quivering of the gut. That's what gives you that horrible, uneasy feeling. That means that your gut is not working in sync, and it helps to basically help to regulate it. There's other medications that are out on the market that do that are clinically prescribed, but don't have as good of utilization. So, their results are only 40%, which is half of what mine is.
So this is a solution after a bad meal even. It's not necessarily just nausea from maybe the boat or the airplane, or in your case, it was from the pregnancy, but even indigestion. Because I keep a case of Pepto-Bismol in my fridge, with my diet and everything.
Oh,
so
yes.
I'm going to keep a case of Nausea in there from now on.
You should. Put it in your car. I have really bad vertigo, and it helps me to be able to function and or work again.
Well, and you said even for migraines, you
yes,
is there
we
a
have
different
a migraine band?
I was just going to ask, so it's a different band for migraines.
It is.
Wow.
We sell it in singles, and basically we are the first that have ever taken a look at acupressure and essential oils. Now the essential oil is a little bit different. The main component is the peppermint or whatnot, but it is kind of like a little secret. I will tell you that I got it from a Brazilian nut, which is kind of exciting. And that essential oil is actually known to help to break the headache cycle, and it's utilized at a very small concentration, but again, the same concepts: distraction, essential oil, smelling, the actual aromatherapy component, and basically stopping those headache hormones due to the actual acupressure. And we'll have no more stress, no more cough and cold, and no more itch coming, and no more hot flashes coming very soon. So just wait. Once we're in all those retail spaces, we're just going to shell shock. You're going to be no mode out.
Wow. Incredible story here. Just another great entrepreneur here based in the Tampa Bay region who had an idea and she moved on it, and look what it's done. An international product in no short of 26 months. It was actually there before that. So Jackie Darna, thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. And also thank you to Kelly Wilson, my new co-host on That Business Show, as it is now That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly.
Thank
so you'll be hearing from Kelly on the program frequently now. So we appreciate her coming into the program and helping out with all the guests that come through the program. Also learn more about No Mo Nausea over at nomonausea.com. And again, they're available in storefronts across the Tampa Bay region. Again, nomonausea.com. Also, a quick reminder, the upcoming Business Symposium tickets are available over at tampabayradio.com. $39 for TBBO members, $59 for non-members. And buy a ticket for that, and you get an invite to the VIP mixer on October 20th at the Tampa Club from 6 to 9. So it's a 2-for-1 deal. Again, tampabayradio.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be sure to tune back in again Monday morning at 7 a.m. to That Business Show with Jamie and Kelly, where business becomes show business.
The